So in terms of workshops that we provide, what are a few of them that we provide for the general public to help raise awareness on certain animal behavior issues?
We have a variety, and we're always trying to add more. So if if there's something that somebody wants to learn about and they contact us and suggest it, we'll take that into consideration. We have developed programs based on that. Some of the common and popular ones that we have include preparing the pets for a baby who's on the way. We've also had programs for the public on house training, puppies, again on litter box issues. We've had just general open question and answer periods where people can come in and ask anything that they want to.
Mm-hmm.
We've had them on choosing a pet, on a whole variety of things.
Okay. So quite a cornucopia of classes that we can
try.
take. So how does someone find out about these workshops, and how do they get signed up?
The information, the schedule for workshops is on our website. It's under the news and events section on the website, and then if you go to the actual events part, it will give you a list of upcoming classes, and you just sign up by either emailing or calling Tammy Bouchard, who's the person who does all the scheduling for those, and they are generally free of charge.
Okay. That's good to know. Mm-hmm. So does anyone in your department ever go out into the community to educate folks out there, or is it mainly in the shelter?
No, we do go out to the community as well. We have talked in shelters. We have talked in we've done lectures for conferences. We generally have a speaker each year at the Lincoln State Cat Show, which happens in February. We've also gone and spoken in schools and done demonstrations there.
Okay. You mentioned the Lincoln State Cat Show. What's that all about?
It is. It's a cornucopia, to borrow your word from earlier, of cat events. There are vendors there who have cat supplies.
Okay.
It is an actual breed show as well, so there's judging going on, and you can see a variety of different pure breed cats, many who you probably won't see otherwise because they're pretty unusual, and they don't come into shelters very often either, so it's a good chance to see those. And then they have, obviously, educational lectures and events happening there, too.
Okay. You mentioned rare breeds. What's an example of a rare breed?
Sphinx would be one, Bengal would be another, Cymric. You're testing me here. There are about 40 different breeds of cat, pure breeds of cat, that are recognized by the Cat Fanciers Association.
Mm-hmm.
There are more that are recognized by the International Cat Association, and there are other breeds that are still kind of under development right now too.
Do certain breeds have certain behavior issues, I guess, that tend to pop up?
Yeah, they do. The so-called Oriental breeds like Siamese, Burmese, almost anything that ends with E's, and Tonkinese tend to be very energetic and active and very vocal. Okay. So if you're prepared for it and you like that type of personality, then it's a great cat to have. If you want a lap cat, that's not the type of cat for you then.
Okay. So you mentioned a little bit more active, so you got to be a little bit more on your toes, I guess.
Yeah,
or willing to handle
and be prepared for them to be climbing up your drapes and things like that if you don't provide an appropriate place for them to climb and do all of that.
Okay. Well, looks like we have our first caller. Sam has a question about a puppy and chewing on the leash. Sam, you're on the air.
Hi, I have a 2-month-old puppy that when I take it for a walk doesn't stop chewing on his leash. It's kind of aggravating, and I was just wondering what I can do to distract him from his leash.
Okay. What breed is the puppy?
Golden Retriever.
Okay. It's common for puppies to do that, of course. There's one thing that's a kind of a simple fix, if you haven't tried this already, is spray bitter apple on the leash. As the name implies, it tastes bitter. It doesn't taste very good. You can also try Listerine or diluted Tabasco to do the same thing. Another thing is bring a toy with you and try to get the pup to chew on the toy instead of chewing on the leash. And really taking an obedience class is a good idea because it will give you some skills to teach the pup to focus on you instead of chewing on the leash. A lot of puppies and adult dogs too chew on the leash because they know it's the leash that's controlling them and not the owner that's controlling their behavior, and that's a good way to deal with it. Another thing is retrievers are very mouthy and very oral dogs. They were bred to carry dead ducks around all the time, so they tend to want to have something in their mouths, so the toy trick should work for him.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for calling. So, are there any other breeds that you know that have certain tendencies like that? You know, chewing on the leash or jumping up, or is this kind of a universal puppy thing?
Yeah, some things are pretty universal. Like all dogs have some form of prey drive to some extent. That's just naturally because they're predatory animals. But others have it more hardwired. For instance, any kind of a sight hound is going to have a pretty strong prey drive. They were bred to see small game from across a long field and then run it down and grab it. Herding breeds like border collies and corgis and Australian shepherds tend to want to herd. And if that's with a group of kids, then they tend to be circling around the children and nipping at their heels, trying to get them all into a corner. So those animals need to have, again, a proper outlet for that, because you're not going to get rid of that behavior. It's so hardwired in them. So proper outlet, like teaching them to put their toys away instead of hurting the children, tends to help, unless you can find a flock of sheep out in the suburbs that you can let them chase after. And there are sometimes herding trials and things like that available. But that does take a lot of commitment, I will admit, for the city dweller with a border collie to drive out to Woodstock to herd some sheep.
But also, you know, putting their own toys away, it's about time they pull their own weight,
right,
you know,
exactly.
and kind of clean up after themselves. Okay, looks like we have another caller. Tammy has a question about an aggressive cat. Tammy, you're on the air.
I have a cat that I got out the back, and the cat is aggressive, has snarled at my hand, and the kid's kind of mean. Why?
Why? He was outside?
Yeah.
Okay. My guess would be, without getting an entire history, my guess would be that he probably was not socialized well and is afraid of people, and so is being defensive.
So what do we do to soften him up?
Well, that's a little difficult. You can try tossing some canned food, some sardines, things like that at him, and see how that works. If you're still having problems, because aggression can be really, really complex, if you're still having problems after trying that, give us a call at the shelter on the hotline, and we'll get some more history from you and try to work through it that way. And be aware that it might take a couple of months before he starts to think maybe he can start to trust you.
So that's a problem of trust.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for calling. Well, looks like that's it for us tonight. I'm Avi Brown from the Anti-Cruelty Society. I'd like to thank you for joining us this evening on CAN TV21. The Anti-Cruelty Society is a 501c3 private nonprofit organization, and we receive no government funds or funds from national humane organizations. To learn more about the Anti-Cruelty Society and how you can support all the great work that we do on behalf of the animals, visit us online anytime at www.anticruelty.org or give us a call at 312-644-8338. I'd also like to thank my guests, Melissa Klett and Little Pooh, the kitten, for helping us out this evening. Now, please tune in again next Thursday at 5:30 p.m. when we'll be back to discuss Anti-Cruelty's shelter services.